the overall leaderboard, what that cut line is looking like.
But let's take a quick look at the highlights, get Cam back in here, and start doing a full dive into the numbers from that last game.
Let's do it.
Welcome back, everyone. Game 7 of this weekend's Best of 12 series is over, and Miramar is looking quite consistent now. Duel and Alcacer were the two that got the chicken dinners on the two Miramars yesterday, and those are the top two today, Poro. So, I mean, I think you said it, one of you said it, it was established, that this is we might be seeing like the actual top of the leaderboard start to tear pretty far ahead now. Alcacer a good number of points. Duel putting themselves in a solid second place position at this point. And I'm muted on Discord. Audience heard me.
I'm sure you made some amazing points right there. I just don't know what they were.
Audience heard me. Doesn't matter. Let's just go. I was making really good points. I was attributing it to you. Let's look at the results. It's fine. We'll let that happen. Let that slide. Let's look at the overall match results and see just how much work everyone did. 19 points apiece matching between Duel and Alcacer, but 4 dogs in third. That's good to see.
This is squad and 4 dogs that I was seeing yesterday. I had some hopes for them coming into this one. They were pretty consistent. Yeah, they had a 13th and a 15th, but they also had a 5th, a 6th, a 7th, and a 6th. So not necessarily a top competitor, but you could see that they were starting to find their legs, really starting to find a way to make sure to start being more consistent. Now moving into that position where they're in a third place, they managed to pick up 5 kills. This is a great game for them, but also terrible for everybody else that's on the cusp for it.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, I feel like Bestia was probably hoping for a lot more out of that one, considering they made it super late game with 4 up. But man, I feel like at a certain point, if you're late in the game and you're trying to make rotations with 2 vehicles and you're I don't know, that it felt like they were asking to get Panzerfaust is what I'm saying. I know everybody's got their own opinions about the Panzer, but you know, some situations feel more likely to get panzered than others, and that one definitely felt like they were going to get panzered, but they still continue to hold on to that 8th place spot. So with 4 dogs knocking on the door, hopefully Bestia can maybe get a little bit more luck this next round.
Yeah, we still have 5 games to go. That's still enough time for teams like Rock and Bestia to get in a much more comfortable position, but it's also enough time, more than enough time really, for teams like Collector, 4 Dogs, Deeper T Vermelho, or do we even want to extend our hope down to Yahoo and Pest Control to then climb themselves up to 8th place? There's a lot of points left to get picked up, but looking at Alcacer at the very top, 82 points overall. That's what, an 18-point gap between them and second place. I think it's safe to say that they are qualified. They could drop goose eggs the rest of today, and Matchroom, I think they are going to the grand finals at this point.
Yeah, it really just depends on point sponging from this point, right? It's now Alcacer Duel starting to really thrive in this environment, and if we can see them consistently making it in the later stages, finding those kills. We know that Gunners at some point is also going to start popping off. Mission Ready is another squad that has a lot of kill count capabilities, so these cusp position squads, they just can't keep resting on it, as we're going to start seeing a couple of these squads, like you're talking about, on the right side of the leaderboard. They are going to be finding points and circle luck here or there and eating up sections of their own.
Yeah. Now, Poro, Rock Esports, I know you already talked about Bestia, how, you know, people might have some thoughts about their mid-game rotation. Big open field, you know, it is what it is, right? But Rock Esports, they looked like they were in a good position. They were doing what their playstyle tends to be successful with, right? Where they lay low during the early to mid-game, then they start to get onto fights. I look away what feels like maybe 10 seconds, and then it's just RBN left. And yeah, sure, they salvage a couple of points in that game, but this isn't really giving me a lot of confidence still that Rock Esports is going to be the team that is able to dig deep into their experience and their previous performances to be confident going into the grand finals if they even make it that far.
Yeah, I mean it was a good position, and they were looking good until the circle just kind of hard shifted away east, and they found themselves kind of out in no man's land with a couple other teams right next to them. So I don't fault them too badly for that one. The one thing I am concerned for Rock and for Bestia, kind of hovering around that cut line, Alcacia, Mission Ready Alliance, Duel, all these teams at the top, they would stand to benefit a lot if Bestia and Rock did not make it to the grand final.
This is true. I also
A lot.
I do have 2 cents I want to throw in on the Rock rotation as well, though, real fast. Is they were comfy, but they were in the power grid hillside, and in that circle, there was only like this much of it that was inside. Just the hillside as it comes down, and that making a rotation into that area, knowing that you're having to come down that hillside. We saw a lot of the teams that just tried to do that got really battered. And yeah, Rock did manage to sneak through it, but that macro control on that side feels like it was a little bit lost. We know that that's a very brutal point to try to rotate from, and they did get away from it, but it immediately put them on the back foot. And whenever I see teams that play to that hillside, knowing the fact that they're probably going to have to go east, I always just feel like they don't know how they're going to manage to get into the circle after that. And it's a very terrifying area to play from. And so I feel like while Rock did manage to get in, it is what cost them there, as they came in so late with so little information.
Right, but this is okay. This is where I look at teams like Bestia and Rock with the experience, with the firepower that we know is on that squad. We should be able to have higher expectations of them regardless of their position. Where, yeah, sure, maybe they wouldn't be able to win a game from an unfortunate spot, right? But the best teams in the world, the ones that, we want to have a puncher's chance come global events especially, should be able to make something out of nothing. And at the moment, I don't think it's really been shown that Rock or Bestia have been able to do that so far in this specific event. We've seen them do it previously, just not here, which is why I think it's a bit uncomfortable and unfortunate. Thankfully, though, Boro, this playing path is looking really, really good. 2 nice playing paths in a row on Miramar. Really good opening circle the previous game as well. So no real Hail Marys being thrown at these teams thus far.
Yeah. And I mean, hey, look, I'd make the argument that the best teams in the world also have, 3-point games from time to time. But the problem for Rock is that they've kind of collected too many of those in a row, right? We need to see it turn around here at some point. And again, they're doing what they need to do to stay above the cut line, right? Like, we just need to see them. We would prefer to see them kind of show a little bit more of what we've seen in the past, but maybe this game will be the one that does it. Who knows? They got a good circle for it.
They do.
Yeah, I mean, they have a good start with it, so there is some potential. It's just, I don't know. Again, how do you go from MVP status with Fantastico to just struggling in an LCQ? It's mind-boggling.
EWC MVP right there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I believe so, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's an MVP when they weren't even in like a top position at EWC. So that just shows the quality of individual player. And we know that the rest of Rock, they have some really good hands sitting behind those mice and keyboards as well. So that's, I guess, like really the frustrating thing. Now, that's not just put any other team down. We know that Gooners are very, very talented as a squad. 55, as unreliable as they tend to be, really good players that can show up at any time. Mission Ready, Wuju 2, Duel, QAD, they all have really, really good individual players, much less overall team. It's just the fact that Rock and Bestia, they just had global. So that's, I guess, the really, really frustrating part.
Well, it's more, it is frustrating, but it's more just confusing is the big factor with it is, while yes, you mentioned it, you should be able to kind of fight your way back from a bad plan every once in a while, especially in a last chance lobby if you're an international team. It's the symptom of the fact of even being here to begin with and being in the cusp position. Yeah, like you're saying, Poro, as well, they are doing enough, both of these squads, to stay in the top 8, but that's not enough. If you're in a last chance qualifier after being an international team, you shouldn't be doing just enough to be there. Right now, QAD and Duel, they want an international. They want to qualify. They want to have an opportunity. They're using this, and they're starting to find more and more consistency in their placement. I say that, it's QAD and Duel, so they're probably going to go out in like 15th and 16th. But it's I don't know. That's what's getting me is it's not I just don't understand what's happening in their decision making because while you can fight yourself out of bad situation, you at least have to get into a situation stable enough to be able to fight your way to begin with. And it feels like that's what they're not finding.
Yeah, but again, like I have a hard time with doing the hand wringing because look, 116 or 18 point game, and we're not talking about it anymore, right? Like it's all back. Everything's well and good, and we're back in the grand finals. So, and I mean, we've seen the best teams. We've seen twisted minds in a last chance qualifier. Like it happens sometimes, but it's just what it's going to take. You got to get that first game right. You got to get that game to get the ball rolling back in the right direction. And right now Rock is chasing it like that first game they circle shifting away from him. It is what it is. It's going to happen. So you really just kind of you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're hoping that maybe you get a little bit of circle luck and you get a good compound and you're able to just kind of put together a big game to hang your hat on and start getting the thing rolling in the right direction. But I feel like a lot of the best teams, that's exactly what happens. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. So I am seeing a lot of consolidation of teams in the middle of the zone. No fights have really started off just yet, but we have the Gooners here, and you never know when they're going to pull the trigger. Rock Esports, one of the teams that we're focusing on right now, also overlooking Mission Ready. So I'm going to let you to take over. I'm going to go watch the games from afar, and I'll see you guys as we prepare for Takeover.
How far?
Pretty far.
Okay.
All right.
Just wanted to be sure.
So Rock's positioning is pretty good for this setup. They do have a couple of friends in Wuju 2 that are going to be ramping in back behind it, but Wuju 2's got their own friends that they're watching in 55. Well, one member of 55 is the other member have already kind of gone down to the south and are closer to Max. It's the Chumasera situation, right? It's very vertical over here, and there's a lot of very weird hillsides that you have to go.
But I gotta tell you that the other members of 55 had probably one of the weirder e-pickups that I think I've seen. I don't think I've seen before a team drop from an e-pickup right as a sandstorm was on top of them. They had no way to scout and look and see what was underneath them and where they were dropping. So they basically try to split up and spread out as long as they can, try to stay in the air as long as they could. And fortunately for them, the compound that they were going for was completely empty, but there was no way that they could know that. And so, like, they're sticking around a little bit longer, and I think they might be looking for vehicles as well. So, ends up being all well and good for 55 in the end. But that was interesting. Have you ever had to pickup through a sandstorm? Parachuting through a sandstorm, that just seems dangerous.
In real life, yes, but in game, I actually kind of like it because, well, you don't know what's going on. Who you're landing on might not know what's going on. Guile got to be a bit careful, but Balefrost is not going to connect the way he really wanted on that. So it's going to be enough to be a bit scary for now. That was about all she wrote. Most of the other teams going to be kind of comfortable. The rest of Gaio is going to be pretty far to the east, actually closer to Bestia. A lot of separated rotations coming into this Kokoro.
That's a little wild, yeah. Can't mention we got probably the easiest plane you'll see in a while. Is Patum had to pull away. They knew they got the tire off of this Murado, so they had enough people close by to come by and clean it up, and indeed they will. Punage will collect another point here for Yahoo as they continue to try to make their climb up the leaderboard, try to get to that cut line.
This Monte Gaio has to be pretty careful as they're on the other side of the northern section of Monte Nuevo. Bestia is going to be in front of them. Four Dogs and Alcazia, the only teams that are really not getting quite the surface. Yeah. That car in particular. That one. We don't like that one.
Nope. Not a fan.
That's a Yahoo thing if I've ever seen it.
I was going to say, it felt like Patum actually got away pretty cleanly, considering that he was so close there to Shimboy initially on the pass, but Shimboy able to take out one tire, and smart on him to notice that he actually was able to get it. So they read that he was going to most likely have to pull up, and good work from Yahoo. Go ahead and collect that point. Now they continue to make their way into Monte Nuevo, where the rest of the bunch of the guys is waiting. And here's 55, the aforementioned Sandstorm E-Pickuppers, as Pippa's going to hear those vehicles for No Way just off to his north and probably play a little bit safer here, pull away.
They got their one vehicle in a dream right now as Max
nice.
is actually going to get vision.
Wait, Hero's not using a VSS? What is this?